If your feet feel numb, tingly, or like you are standing on a folded blanket that never smooths out, your nervous system is trying to tell you something you should not brush aside. Margaret lived with that feeling for almost 3 years. Cold feet that refused to warm up no matter how many socks she wore, a prickling sensation that climbed up her calves by nightfall. She assumed it was simply a part of aging, something to quietly endure. She was wrong. Margaret became a patient of Japan's oldest practicing doctor, and after he walked her through 4 simple chair-based movements, she slept peacefully through the night for the first time in nearly 3 years. It took only 3 weeks, and by following this same routine, you can experience the same shift. Today, that same doctor is going to guide you through those 4 exact movements, the ones designed to calm the tingling and begin restoring sensation in numb feet after 60. Every single movement is done while seated. You can begin the very first one within the next 60 seconds, and you will want to stay through to the 4th, because that is the movement that finally gave Margaret her feet back. Before we begin, if your feet burn, tingle, or go numb once the sun goes down, type the word feet in the comments below. It helps us understand how many people are quietly struggling with this exact issue, and it helps this reach more people who need it just as much as you do. Doctor, before we move a single muscle, everyone watching wants to know, is this simply poor circulation, or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface? It runs far deeper than circulation alone, and a recent study out of Kyoto University Hospital revealed exactly what is taking place. Researchers studied older adults experiencing that same tingling, burning, cotton-like sensation in their feet. What they discovered surprised even the research team. The nerves in the feet had not been destroyed at all. They had simply gone quiet from a lack of the right kind of stimulation. Even more striking, when these same seniors performed specific lower limb movements, follow-up skin biopsies revealed the growth of entirely new nerve fiber branches. A nerve that has gone silent can, in many cases, be coaxed back to life. That is exactly the message everyone tuning in needs to hear today. We are not chasing warmth for its own sake. We are sending a direct biological signal that tells dormant nerves it is safe to switch back on. One quick note before we start. This particular routine is built for waking tired, age-related nerves. If you are living with advanced diabetes or you notice any sudden or severe changes, please keep your personal doctor informed as you go. Doctor, how should someone prepare their feet before we move into the main routine? We start by gently waking the pathways. Watch closely as we demonstrate. Begin seated tall in your chair with both feet resting flat on the floor. Slowly roll each ankle 10 times in one direction, then 10 times in the other. This immediately encourages blood flow down toward the feet. Next, gently tap both feet against the floor 20 times, alternating left and right in a soft, steady rhythm. That simple preparation tells your nervous system that change is on its way. Now we are ready for the very first movement. Everyone, get into position, doctor. Please take us into the first exercise. The first movement is the seated toe raise and spread. If your toes feel stiff, curled inward, or almost disconnected from the rest of the foot, the nerve pathways controlling them have gone quiet, and this movement sends a direct signal straight up through those pathways, from the toes, through the feet, and into the lower legs. If you are able to remove your shoes and socks for this part, please do, because bare skin against the floor offers your nerves a form of sensory input they rarely receive anymore. The floor itself becomes a kind of medicine for a nervous system that has spent years wrapped inside thick soles. Sit tall, both feet flat on the floor, lift all 10 toes as high as you comfortably can, and hold for 3 seconds. Feel the pull along the top of the foot. Now spread those lifted toes as wide as possible and hold for 2 more seconds. Lower them slowly. That completes 1 repetition, and we are doing 12 total. Pay attention to which toes respond easily and which ones seem to lag behind. For most people, the smallest toe is the slowest to answer, so give it your full attention with every spread. Watching the demonstration, some toes clearly respond with ease, while the smaller ones appear to struggle to keep up. Margaret described her feet as feeling like 2 wooden blocks every single morning. Did this specific movement reach her? By the close of the first week, yes. She told me her feet felt less like wood and more like her own feet again. Not completely, but enough to notice. And noticing is exactly where real recovery begins. The next movement builds directly on this one. Before we move forward, I want everyone watching to do something simple. Tap the hype button on this video right now. Every tap helps this reach another senior lying awake tonight with cold, tingling feet and no idea what to do about it. Go ahead and tap it, and let's continue. Show us the second movement, please. The second movement is the seated calf pump paired with a foot press, and it goes directly after the cold sensation. If your feet stay cold even while the rest of your body feels warm, your calves have stopped doing their job. The calf functions as the strongest circulation pump in your entire lower body, and when it stays still for hours at a time, blood pools low in the leg, leaving the feet starved of fresh, oxygen-rich circulation. Nerve tissue is among the hungriest tissue in the body for oxygen, so when it goes without, tingling and numbness soon follow. Sitting tall, raise both heels as high as feels comfortable, rising onto the balls of your feet. At the very top, press the balls of your feet firmly into the floor for 2 seconds. Feel the squeeze move through the calf and spread through the arch. Lower slowly and control the whole descent. That completes 1 repetition, and we are doing 20 at a calm, even pace, roughly 1 full raise and lower every 4 seconds. Think of this as a second heartbeat working through your lower legs. Everyone, please stay with us through to the end, because the fourth movement still ahead is the one that finally gave Margaret her feet back, and you will not want to miss it. Doctor, based on that slow, deliberate pace, what did Margaret actually feel while doing this one? This was the first movement where she felt an actual shift happening in real time. By the 15th repetition, warmth had returned to her left foot, a warmth she had gone so long without that she had nearly forgotten what it felt like. That warmth is simply blood-reaching tissue that had been cold and quiet for far too long, and for anyone living with nerve-related numbness, it is one of the most encouraging sensations there is. Watching that steady, rhythmic counting, I can already picture the warmth building in people's calves as they follow along at home. It looks almost meditative, nothing like the exhausting routines people usually dread. That slow pace is not optional, it is the actual medicine here. Rush through it and you simply bounce on your ankles, and the calf never fully squeezes. Slow and controlled is what empties the veins and pulls fresh blood back down into the foot. Now let's move into the third movement. Everyone get ready, go ahead, doctor. The third movement is seated foot rolling using a towel, and it reaches a nerve pathway most foot routines miss entirely, the one running along the inner arch. The band of tissue along the bottom of the foot, known as the plantar fascia, is one of the most nerve-dense structures in the entire body. Years spent inside thick-soled shoes walking on flat floors leave it understimulated, and those nerve endings eventually go quiet. You do not need any special equipment here. A rolled hand towel works perfectly. Place it beneath the arch of your right foot. Slowly roll your foot forward and back, from the ball of the foot down to the heel, pressing gently as you move. You are not stretching here, you are stimulating. Search for the spots that feel tight, tender, or completely numb, and when you find a numb spot, pause and hold steady pressure there for a full 10 seconds. That sustained pressure sends the nerve a signal it has not received in a very long time. Roll the right foot for 60 seconds, then switch to the left. There is something genuinely soothing about watching the foot roll across that towel. Doctor, you mentioned earlier this movement also supports balance, which honestly surprised me. It surprises nearly everyone. The nerve endings in the arch connect through a reflex pathway running up to the spinal cord, feeding your sense of where your body sits in space, what specialists call proprioception. Wake those endings back up, and balance sharpens noticeably, meaning a lower risk of a fall. All of that from something as simple as a towel beneath the foot. When Margaret first attempted this, she could not feel the towel under her right foot at all. By the second week, she could. By the third week, she could distinguish the ball of her foot from her heel as she rolled across it. That return of sensation was not a miracle. It was simple stimulation, meeting a nervous system still capable of responding. And for anyone whose towel feels too firm or too soft, they can simply adjust the roll, looser for a gentler touch, tighter for more pressure. The goal is steady stimulation they can actually feel, never a sharp wince. This is the one everyone has been waiting for, the fourth movement, the one that gave Margaret her feet back. Doctor, walk us through what is happening here. The fourth movement is seated shin taps paired with ankle circles, and it ties every previous movement together. If your lower legs feel heavy or seem to shut off after long periods of sitting, the muscle running down the front of the shin, the tibialis anterior, has gone dormant. That muscle lifts the front of the foot while walking, and when it weakens, the foot begins to drag ever so slightly. That tiny drag is exactly what catches a toe on a loose rug or a raised edge, turning an ordinary step into a fall. It is also fed by the perineal nerve, one of the nerves most commonly affected by age-related nerve decline, so we are going to wake it directly. Sit tall, both feet flat, heels planted firmly on the floor. Lift the front of both feet, toes, and the ball of the foot as high as possible and hold for 2 seconds. Feel the muscle working down the front of the shin. Lower slowly. That completes 1 shin tap, and we are doing 15. Then lift your right foot a few inches off the floor and draw 10 slow, wide circles with the ankle, 5 in one direction and 5 in the other, making each circle as large as possible. Set it down and repeat with the left foot. What should someone do if they feel discomfort? You may feel a sharp tingling spreading upward into the foot, and that is simply nerve tissue answering the call, the nervous system letting you know it is still present and still capable. Margaret felt it on the 3rd day, a tingling running down the front of her right shin, unlike her usual numbness. It felt sharper, more purposeful. She described it as feeling like a current rather than a fog. That difference between the dull, heavy fog of numbness and the sharp, bright current of a nerve switching back on is exactly how you know the work is reaching the tissue that needs it most. Watching those ankle circles at the end, it looks like everything is connecting. The shin, the ankle, the foot, all moving as one fluid motion. Are we finished now? That is precisely what they accomplish. And no, we are not quite finished. The circles carry the signal from the shin through the ankle joint and out into the foot, joining the entire lower leg pathway into one continuous loop. By the time you finish them, every part you just woke up is communicating with the rest again. That is exactly why this movement comes last. It does not simply train a muscle, it reconnects the whole circuit. Now we bring everything to a calm close. Place both feet flat and press them firmly into the floor for 5 seconds, then release completely. Gently massage the top of each foot from ankle to toe, 10 slow strokes on each side. Finally, shake both feet loosely from the ankle for 10 seconds, feeling the circulation moving through tissue that was cold and silent when we first began. Doctor, give everyone a simple summary of what to do tomorrow and tell us where Margaret stands today. 4 chair movements done every single day. The toe raise and spread to wake the nerve pathways. The calf pump to push warm blood back down toward the feet. The towel roll to stimulate the arch and sharpen balance, and the shin taps with ankle circles to fight foot drag and protect against falls. Do them daily, because nerve tissue responds to consistency in a way it never responds to occasional effort. As for Margaret, she now sleeps through the entire night. The tingling has not disappeared completely. Nerve health requires ongoing care, but it has softened enough that it no longer wakes her. Her feet feel like her own again each morning. She walks to the kitchen without needing to press them into the floor just to feel something, and she wears the shoes she loves once more. None of that came from a pill or a procedure. It came from 10 quiet minutes in a chair, repeated daily, until her nervous system remembered how to listen again. Remember, numb feet are not something you simply have to accept as inevitable. Try these 4 movements today. Tap the hype button so another senior lying awake tonight with tingling feet can discover this too, and share it with someone whose feet deserve better.